everyone, and welcome to Third Eye Roll. I am the Earth Grid Rescue Mission, and I am so genuinely delighted to be back in the studio with my co-host, Wolf Dragon. Mike, your mind, it honestly continues to be one of the most fascinating places I get to explore. And seriously, your take last episode on Cthulhu and synchronicity, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. You have this way with connecting dots that leaves me seeing the entire dream world very differently now. So I just wanted to say I'm glad you're back, and I really enjoyed the show we did last week together.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and but there was even so much more information that even I hadn't thought about before until we started doing it. And then I'm like getting all these downloads, and I'm like, wow, look at that. And then because you're so good at decoding, I think a lot of that was like coming on me. And then I started seeing other things on the patches. I was like, oh yeah, look at this. Oh yeah, look at this. So yeah, it was really, really good. I had a great time doing that.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you take those things into a arena with a conversation, how other people, and especially like how well you and I bounce things off each other, they make you critically and analytically approach it from other perspectives that you may not have previously considered, like by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. Can't wait to do more.
Me
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
And talking about seeing things differently is it's the perfect segue, because it's what our incredible guest, heraldry expert Conor Allen, does amongst many other topics, unpacked at his YouTube channel, The Truth Exposer. He decodes the original language of symbols and power that's all around us. He's a master decipherer of history hidden in plain sight. And today, he takes on the language of heraldry and breaking it down on crests and on coats of arms. So without further ado, Conor, we are so thrilled to have you. And how are you?
I'm doing good.
It's,
Thank you for bringing me on, Michelle.
You're welcome. I'm so glad that you got to come and be with us this morning. And I have wanted to have this conversation with you for months now. I know you have helped me a lot with trying to understand the crest and coats of arms. And there is, a gazillion of them, right? So
There's so many. Let's just say
just
that.
a few, one to go with each of my personalities. I'm really glad, though, that today you're going to take us through the language of how this works in the history and the deeper occultic, signifiers that happen, with the club, and how they use it as a communication that really the rest of us that are not part of this club, we never really understand. So I'm just, like I said, I'm excited to have you here, and I'm going to hand it over to my co-host so he can say a few things, and then we're going to let you have the floor.
Oh, I didn't have anything prepared. I was just so excited to have Connor on. But I think that what you do is so important, and it's just fascinating how we look at patches and coat of arms probably all the time. Some of us, I know I have in the past, like we look up our surname and what families we came from, or who knows, maybe even the origin. Like for me, my last name is Rodriguez, so of course I went back and looked up Rodrigo, who was the last Visigoth king of Spain. So all the Rodriguez, according to that history and origin, all the Rodriguez came from him. So his coat of arms is very interesting. Also, I have to show you that one.
Yes,
So
you.
maybe we can. Yeah, it's really cool. But what you do is totally amazing. It's definitely like top-notch decoding. I think that people really need to know these things because it's like everything has meaning. And you, at such a young age, you're wise beyond your years to even look at this and say, "Yep, this means this. This means this. Oh, I know why they put this here." And then you put it all together and say, "This means all of this, and this is why they put it together." It has such a magical.
When I first saw the Giza Plateau, I'm like, oh yeah, there's definitely hidden secrets over there. So that's why I did a video on it, and I'm going to do a part 2 on that because there's more information that I found, and it takes time. Just even though you have other videos scheduled, you still need to do that previous video and look at it with an open eye. Like I like on the Giza Plateau, I've uncovered there's 3 sphinxes. There's 2 other sphinxes hidden, and in total there's 3 sphinxes. And if you look at the complex with a more pristine eye, I should say, the pyramids are actually obelisk tops. So that means there's actually a hidden structure beneath the Giza Plateau. So that means that is either the capital of Osiris. And if you didn't see the 2 faces of Osiris and his son Horus, that represented the royal lineage to Ra. But that was destroyed because of, building urban development. So that was destroyed. The only 2 things that remain of that site is Osiris and Horus.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it and I said, okay, this is actually a royal lineage temple. So when I looked at this, since all the pharaohs of Egypt were descended from Horus and Osiris, so I looked at it. So this is what I did. From Ramses II to Osiris, I have pinpointed that Ramses I is indeed of the royal blood that we ever saw, because he descended from a military family, and in fact, through his mother, I think father's mother. Sorry, I haven't did a little, but through his father's mother, he is a descendant of Thutmose III, meaning he's of royal bloodline of Egypt. So, if you don't know about Thutmose III, he's called Egypt's Napoleon. He was a very, very famous ruler of Egypt. He's one of my personal favorites, but he was a very organized ruler. He put Egypt together, and he founded the new kingdom. And if you didn't know this, he's actually the great grandfather of Akhenaten.
Wow!
I did not know that.
So Thutmose III, upon his death, he was succeeded by his son Amenhotep II, and Amenhotep II was succeeded by his son Thutmose IV, and Thutmose IV was succeeded by his son Amenhotep III, and Akhenaten's former regnal name was called Amenhotep IV. Named to Akhenaten, again founding that one monotheistic religion.
Right.
So through Akhenaten's new religion, he is the living God. He is the son of Aten.
Awesome.
So he is the one who is essentially God upon earth. So again, the ancient Egyptian religion, or ancient Kemet religion, I should say, it focuses on the pharaoh being among the gods, descended from the gods. But once you change to Atenism, it's different. He is not just the son of Aten. He is Aten upon earth. And there's actually an old temple that sees Akhenaten in the middle of the sun, holding a scepter and receiving homage from the priests, and they're lying prostrate in front of him as a living god. So Akhenaten, under the old reign of the ancient Egyptian religion, you would bow like this. But in Atenism, you prostrate. So that's a religious revolution that they had. Akhenaten was very abused in the old religious system by the high priest of Aman. So that's why he changed it, because he had a vision from Aten itself. So the Aten worship didn't actually begin with Akhenaten. It began with Amenhotep II. And so that was later popularized as a faith, and that later became a state religion. However, it was very unpopular with the high priest of Amman. So, Akhenaten died young after a 17-year reign, leaving his son and successor, Semenkari. Now, his throne name is called Akhetepura. Now, what's interesting about King Tut's middle sarcophagus, it has different facial features than the other sarcophaguses. Once you look at the underneath cartouche that was deliberately removed, that read Ankhegebura. That was the sarcophagus or coffin of Semenkari. Now, he married his sister, Merit Aten, whose granddaughter became Scota, Princess Scota, meaning she founded Scotland and its royal family.
No kidding.
So this is the bloodline from Akhenaten that still exists today, from myself and a number of people descended from Scota and the Scottish royal family, tracing their lineage back to Scota and back to the Egyptian princess Merit Aten.
Wow.
So that bloodline, the male line died out, by the way, but the female line lived on in Scotland. So she went to Scotland and became a central figure in founding Scotland.
Mhm. Wow. That is really, really cool. Oh, interesting.
Which is why I'm going to do a video on my channel one day, and I'm going to be decoding Scotland in its full extent form. So, again, so the most senior descendant of the Scottish Scota, it was the Stuarts. The Stuarts had a direct bloodline, so to say, to Scota, like their predecessors. So according to this, if you had the blood of the ancient kings and to the gods, you also had the power and connection to God or to the other gods. So, for example, in medieval ancestry, they would trace their lineage to Jesus and God the Father. They would do extensive genealogical. That's the way they're. Remember on my podcast, I always say king lists are genealogical trees. That's exactly what they are. King lists are essentially bloodline lists, so to say.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, most of them were destroyed for specific reasons unknown to us. Alexandria Temple had a lot of king lists throughout the world. There's a reason why they got destroyed, because they refused to acknowledge that particular history and that culture of that time that traced that king, that god. So it's essentially our very first family tree system. That's why they created king lists. And again, going back to the Giza Plateau, it's a king list of Osiris and Horus, his son. And actually, there is a temple called the Osiris Shaft, and that leads to the tomb of Osiris, his ancient tomb. Now that was redecorated for a specific reason, because there was black goo on the sarcophagus. This is the sarcophagus that had black goo. Now, Osiris ascended to heaven in ancient Egyptian religious system. Now, let me tell you something about the Holy Eucharist in Catholicism, because in ancient Egypt, the priest would consecrate bread and wine like they do in the Eucharist in the Catholic Church, and they consume it and they give it to the population. Instead, it would be the body and blood of Osiris. They would reenact a ritual to the resurrected Osiris. So this is the Osiris story on the Giza Plateau. And again, I'm not supposed, some of the information I am not going to reveal. You're going to have to wait till the next video. But going back to my previous video that I did, yeah, do you hear any interference? I'm getting a lot of interference.
I'm getting a lot of noise feedback. And Mike, when you're talking, it's super echoey.
Okay, sorry about that. Because I
No,
checked
it's okay. It's
I checked
okay.
my audio and I have
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Don't worry, it's fine. If you, Connor, we're gonna keep talking, and if you need to adjust or anything, Mike, you're welcome to. If not, we'll just continue on.
Here, let me put my AirPods on because they can't.
Okay, no problem.
The sound.
No problem.
Yeah, because on my side I have all the noise cancellation. I have all that clicked so that it reduces all of that.
Yeah,
So,
it
on my
sounds
side,
really weird. Just normally when I talk to you on your headset, it's very clear and quiet, and I'm noticing like a big, because I'm not hearing it come through Connor, and I don't know if you guys can hear it coming through with me.
no.
It seems like it's only when you're talking, Mike, or when you're, I'm not sure why. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Do you hear any interference now?
no.
I don't hear it.
No, I can only hear it when Mike is talking.
Oh, yeah, because I can hear both of you very clearly. Let me see.
Okay, let's continue.
So Connor, I have a question. Like with the heraldry and stuff, does that have a connection with Egypt as well? Like we know that Egypt,
yes.
Especially with, okay.
So the scepter, later used in medieval Europe, was used in ancient Egypt. So the scepter represents royal authority. So again, going back to the British crown jewels, because those are that's the only scepter in Europe still used today. It represents the monarch's authority, even though it's a constitutional system. However, it still represents the authority of the monarch appointed by God, answerable only to God, and second only to God. Same thing with the Pope. The Pope actually had a scepter. The Pope is an elected monarch. And so the system of monarchy is still very, very prevalent in that time because it is the most successful form of government, and thus it is the most divinely ordained form of government. Again, going back to the bloodline of the kings to the gods. That's how the system was created. And heraldry didn't come till medieval Europe, and that later spread across the entire planet, showing you where you came from, how you came from, and what noble orders you were bestowed on. So that's why medieval Europe created coat of arms, and that person was called King Edward III of England. He is the one who really drew up the map for all coats of arms, and that later spread across Europe in a heartbeat. So that's how heraldry started, and heraldry also proved your royal connection to that particular king. So if you had a lion, you descend from the Lion of England, meaning you're of the royal kingship line of England. If you're of a griffin, you descend from the royal family of Poland. Same thing with the lions throughout all across Europe. They use lions more often. So England, Scotland, Ireland,
Do you think
Denmark.
you could talk a little bit about like maybe some of the vernaculars, like the terminology and maybe just the basic foundations of how a coat of arms is laid out and kind of what that, communicates to each other with medieval time knights?
So it became very prevalent after the Battle of Crécy in France when King Edward III won. So what he wanted to do is he wanted to bring forth a system of where the people know who you are going off to battle and for family lineage. So that's what he did. So The first order of chivalry in England ever founded was the Order of the Garter. Now, I'm going to give you a little story on that. It's still in use today. So, the Order of the Garter, you have a blue sash, and you're immediately either a knight companion or a lady companion of the Garter. So, the story is how it founded was a lady, a court lady, slipped her garter, and the nobles were laughing. And amidst the laughter, the king knelt down and grabbed the garter and said to the titters, "On y soit qui mal y pense," French for shame on those who thinks evil of it. That was the motto put upon the Order of Chivalry. So the Order of Chivalry was founded as a protector of the realm, defending women and men from dangers. So it's a protection order of chivalry.
Wow.
That's England. Other countries have it differently.
Yeah, I know that here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about the interference. I'm trying to figure out where it is so I can turn it off. But yes, now that you bring up the guard, that's really awesome. I know that I've heard of that before, but it never so eloquently as you put it. But I know that in a lot of marriages here in America, or even from where my family's from in Puerto Rico, when a young couple gets married, or mostly it's the younger couples, but they have part of their ceremony when they're in the reception. The bride will sit down, and her new husband will come and then remove her garter. So I'm sure all of that tradition most definitely comes from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at more information on it. So give me 1 second. So,
Okay.
yeah, the Order of the Garter is still very prevalent. There's tons of orders of chivalry.
Even on the currency used in the United States, you see the imagery, like where you have like the eagle and he's got like the arrows right in one talon, and then he's got, like that. I know that I believe is connected back to the Order of the Garter. They have, their imagery that carries over.
So I don't know if you can see it, but this is it. This is their logo. So they have the St. George's Cross. This is this was the national flag of England under Edward III. So again, this little chain right here is the Order of the Garter. So they use this on coats of arms. So if you are a member of the Order of the Garter, you would get this insignia.
Connor, you're welcome to present the screen if you want to drive or if you want to take us to look at images.
Yeah.
It's really interesting you showed that, because when I was doing a decode on Pittsburgh for Rob over at Typical Skeptic, one of the things I was looking into was like Pitts, and then it goes back to like the Duke, which was, I believe, Chatham. And I kept seeing like with the police department, you had like that, I believe they're called tinctures, right? Instead of colors, right? In coats of arms. And I'm so sorry. I think it's like azure, which is the blue. And I don't know all of them, so forgive me. But it had that chain, right? That looks like a belt with a buckle. And then it had like the motto or the creed written, semicircular within the boundaries of the chain. So I think that's very interesting that you are connecting that back, especially because I've noticed while I've been doing these decodes in the United States, yes, we did have 13 original colonies. We know that we had coming from England and across the pond families that came in and established, but I have also found it in many other communities where there is not a tie to the 13 original colonies. So it's given me pause.
Yes, so it's not just England that's settled in the United States, it's other countries. So Spain, France is the main. Spain and France besides Britain, but also Sweden, Denmark, and all kinds of stuff. They all came to that country. But the United States was actually an experiment for other people, seeing how they can work together as a community, like the colonists and the natives. It was an experiment by the government to see how they would work together. And yes,
I'm so sorry about the light, you guys. I'm doing the best I
it's
can.
good. And yes, there was a lot of mishaps, but they were still people under that system. However, this is the Order of the Garter. So if we look here at the Order of the Garter, so again, most senior order of knighthood in the British honors. So what this does, it means it can only be granted by the sovereign's grant or decision. So it was founded 677 years ago. And now, here again, here's the motto, Honi soit qui mal y pense. Shame on him or those who thinks evil of it. And that's right here. This is the motto. This is the motto.
Wow.
And then I see what looks like a fleur-de-lis in the bottom of the buckle there. Maybe
no, yeah, that represents royalty.
Yeah, fleur-de-lis.
Is that not similar to the shape of a fleur-de-lis?
It is a fleur-de-lis. A fleur-de-lis represents royalty, and that was actually founded by King Edward III to represent his claim to the throne. Now, listen, they always had a claim to the French throne. Now, Edward III's mother, I'm going back here again. Edward III is my direct ancestor. His mother was the Princess of France. Now, her parents are the king who actually destroyed the Knights Templar. He is the king who actually destroyed it. Because for one reason, during that time, again, I told everyone that the Knights Templar was facing a civil war within, between those who wanted the New World Order and those who just wanted to protect the treasures from the Holy Land. That's what led its destruction. So Philip IV of France, again, he was also called Philip the Fair. Now, he was the king who destroyed the Knights Templar along with Pope Clement V of France. Pope Clement V. Now, he was a French pope. Pope Clement was a French pope. And so he wanted a French person on the throne. So this king is what led to the Western Schism of where you had 3 popes. So
that's interesting.
So this happened is when Pope Boniface VIII said, I'm gonna assert my authority over all Christian kings, and Philip IV, he said, hell no, bitch, you're not doing any of it. So I'm gonna raise taxes on the church, if you like it or not. So the Pope drew up the Unum Sanctum, a radical decree that forces the Pope's total supremacy over earthly rulers. So Pope Boniface was one of the most evil popes in history, but he was one of the strongest popes that ever sat on the papal throne. So, however, what happened is that he was deposed by Philip and executed by Philip. And so that's what led to the Western Schism. So again, the seat of the papacy under Pope Clement V became known in Avignon. Now that is in France. So that led to 3 popes at a time. And
Conor,
so
is this where you get like the white pope, the black pope, and the gray pope, where they talk about...
This is totally different. That didn't came up till later. So this is totally different. So this was led to known as the Western Schism. Now, until the schism ended in 1417 by the Council of Constance. So here are the Avignon popes if you are interested in them. So Pope Clement V moved the papacy to Avignon. Pope John the 22nd, I should say. Pope Benedict XII, Pope Clement VI, Pope Innocent VI, Pope Urban V, Pope Gregory XI, and these are anti-popes, meaning they're not recognized.
How did
An
they choose
anti-pope-
the names? I'm sorry. How did they come up with the names?
So the popes are supposed to model after saints and former popes. So the only name that they cannot take is Peter. They're not supposed to do Peter.
Why?
Because he is the first and only pope and apostle of Jesus.
Oh,
That Peter's name has to stand alone. And so they can choose other names except Peter. So
that's interesting.
So Peter's the only one who remains alone.
I understand.
Because then you would get competition from other popes named Peter, and they would become saints, and that would be confusing.
It is confusing.
So again, there's multiple popes after this certain name. 2 of them are saints, so that will be confusing, unless if you put the Roman numeral. So Pope Sixtus the First, who was a saint, and Pope Sixtus II, who was he's something beatified. He's beatified a little bit, but these popes are like, yeah, they started putting a Roman numeral who would take their name, so that's why it will lead to confusion. Yeah, there's been a few. Like Pope Francis.
Can I ask you another question, Connor?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I'm really interested, and I've wondered this for a long time. One of the things I have been trying to learn through the coats of arms is, you talk about like the noble order of the garter. Like, what kind of different orders are there? Because I've heard things like ecclesiastic. You talk about chivalry. I just can't seem to find a source that explains this in a way where I can understand it.
So ecclesiastical order is an order that represents the church.
Okay.
So the order of Christ is a chivalric order under the Pope. The order of the Garter, for example, is only for the royal family and for members who earn it on the discretion of the sovereign. So ecclesiastical is totally different than temporal. So they divided spiritual and temporal. If you have spiritual power, that goes to the Pope. We also temporal power is earthly power. So they separated those so that people will understand which order is which. So ecclesiastical, if you're part of an ecclesiastical order of priests, a great example would be the Franciscans, founded by Saint Francis of Assisi. So the Franciscans are one of the most famous orders in the Catholic Church. The Order of Saint Augustine, where Pope Leo XIV is a member, he is part of an order of Saint Augustine. Many popes are part of orders. There's only a few that would by themselves.
Responsibilities like come with this? Like, because I know that there's like a knighthood, or they are given with somebody who has the ability to give the decree, right? Like,
yeah, the Pope and the Master General of the Order has the authorities, so to be granted to them. So to be a priest in that order, you have to swear an oath of modesty, poverty, and chastity in each of these orders, and then you will be ordained a priest.
And that's all.
That's all. Jesuits,
nothing much.
The Jesuit order.
I'm sorry.
Now the Jesuit order has been corrupted, as it used to be. So the former Jesuit order was to defend Catholicism with your might, to defend the Christian order. That was its sect. Now it's all about LGBTQ worship. It's all about
AI plus.
bunch of AI. Yes, it's all a bunch of that. Again, the
Yeah.
anti-God. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, we
today.
aren't going to go there today.
But anyway,
what about like the Order of the Seraphim? Like, because I have found so many orders, and I mean, I'm just fascinated.
Here, I'll go look it up right now. Here, so people can see what you're talking about. Okay, so the Order of the Seraphim is the royal order of the Kingdom of Sweden. It was created by Frederick I. Now, the funny thing is that he wasn't of the royal blood of Sweden. He was married into it. That's why his wife was a part of it. But his wife abdicated in favor of him. Technically, it should go to their sons or their heirs male. But anyways, but the
Can
order
you
of the
talk a little bit about, like, over I see in the corner there, it has like a collar and a badge of the Order of the Seraphim. Can you talk a little bit about that if you were able to?
Yeah, hold on. So let me zoom in and discuss about it.
Wow, it's beautiful.
I think so too. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So these are the cross.
Okay.
These are the crosses that represent Christianity.
I've seen these crosses on churches before.
So the double cross represents the archdiocese. So the double cross represents the archdiocese in Catholicism. Again, I was down in Detroit, down in the cathedral. They carried a double cross. That is the archbishop coming in. He is the second. He is the second most powerful man besides the Pope. So they have a two cross. The first cross that will represent it is actually the name that they put on top of the crucifixion. His actual name. The second is his arm stretched. That's the meaning of the double cross. But the double cross represents the archbishop. The triple cross represents the papacy. So totally different. But the regular cross represents the other clergymen coming in the persona Christi. So once you're ordained a priest or bishop, they have authority to consecrate Jesus's bread and wine into the actual body and blood of Christ. The ordinary bread and wine becomes the body and blood of Jesus. So they are in persona Christi, in the person of Christ. So if you're a priest or a bishop, if you're a deacon, you are servus Christi captus, in a service of Christ the head. That's what separates the three holy orders. So that's the double cross. This is the seraphim. So the seraphim is the highest ranking angel of the kingdom of heaven. They are called the fiery ones. They are the ultimate powerful angels besides the Archangel Michael.
Is this where you get fiery seraphim from?
The fiery seraphim represents the monarch's fiery authority on earth. So the reason why they put the order of the seraphim, it represents the monarch's divinely ordained authority. There's a reason why they put heavenly angels and heavenly choirs to represent God's blessings upon the monarch that he chooses, he or she. The cross is surrounded by seraphim. So the holy cross of Jesus is carried. Now at my church, we actually have a relic of the holy cross with Jesus's sweat, blood, all of this. So there's a relic of the true cross. Now the story of the true cross is that Saint Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine, found the first cross. She found the three crosses. She brought a woman terminally ill death. She touched the first two crosses, condition was unchanged. She touched the cross of Jesus, she was healed miraculously. And Helen said, this is the cross that Christ died on. So they made replicas, I should say relics of the cross. The Catholic Church always had a number of holy relics. They always had a lot of relics. They have the Shroud of Turin. They have all kinds of relics. They have the Spear of Longinus. They have every single relic you would know in the Bible that was depicted. So again,
what does the IHS stand for? I'm sorry, I don't know if you said that.
It represents the most holy name of Jesus. Okay. So his actual name would be Yeshua. Now his father is Yeshua, God the Father. Yesh is God. Yeshua meaning God the Son. So again, there's a solemnity in the Catholic Church that we celebrate. It's called the Epiphany. So it represents the three wise men or kings kneeling in adoration towards the Christ child and his virgin mother. Now, what's interesting about the sacred name of Jesus is that ever since then, they put his name in every single church and even on their chasubles to represent his holy name. Now, the solemnity of his holy name is celebrated in the Christmas season. So I'll tell you what it means. I, representing the Latin Jesus. H meaning high. S meaning priest. Jesus, the eternal high priest or king. That's what it represents.
That's fascinating. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. I mean, I've seen some of these, like, man, well, I'm trying to think of one. Like, one of the oldest ones I saw had something to do with, like, the ancient order of the clockmakers. I think that's what it was. I mean, I was just...
I heard of that.
Yeah, I just found this recently. And, I mean, they've been making clocks for, like, hundreds of years. And, I mean... I have to say, like, I really think we just don't have it, like, the artistry style that they had in medieval times that they have been able to keep continuously within the parameters of. I just don't feel like we design things like this anymore. We had some questions from the audience, if that's okay, Connor. I'm not sure. It's not allowing. Go ahead. I don't know why it won't let me put it up on the screen. I think it's because I don't have any administration abilities. But Willow Roots is here. And I'll let Mike ask the questions, actually, since he's been pretty quiet.
Let me see if I can show it.
It's already showing. It's showing, Mike. You just took it off the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Oh, I didn't even know I could do that. I'm so sorry. This is like also new to me.
Oh, she's talking about when they're like this.
Yeah, the seraphim.
So it represents that they're so full of light. If a human were to actually see them, they would be blinded and incinerated. You can't look into a face of a heavenly seraphim. That's why they're covered like this, because they're so full of light. They're so full of fire. You can't see them. You can't see their faces. If you even look at a seraphim, you would be blinded and destroyed, incinerated by their power. Seraphim.
So that the wings are supposed to be for, right? To protect, like almost like cover you from the glory of the light.
Oh yeah, that's the reason why they're protected. Is that the reason why they don't want humans to look upon them? Is that they don't want to incinerate God's children. So that's why they remain covered like this. Because if you look into a face of a seraphim, you'll get instantly blinded. Don't ever look in the face of a seraphim. That's the reason why they cover themselves with their
Oh.
I
wings.
wonder
Their
if this
heavenly
is
crown.
why, like in Greek mythology, they talk about like Medusa, right? I know it's not the same as looking at the light and being, disintegrated, but they talk about like in Greek mythology, like I think it was like Perseus or Prometheus. You
Perseus
turn
is
to
the one who
stone
killed
should you
Medusa.
look upon them.
Yeah,
I don't think it's because she was so holy, though. But
no, it's not the reason why she's so holy. It's that she's a demon.
yeah,
Medusa
I don't think it's because she was holy at all. I think it's
Medusa
the
was
opposite.
cursed by Athena, so she was condemned to be ugly forever. So, again, I don't like to call mythology like myth. I like to call it history.
I just got this book at the library. It's World Mythology, and it's the anthology of the great myths and epics. It's the 3rd edition. And I just got it at the library. I got a whole stack of books here. I'm so excited to be reading them. But I agree with you because we talked about this all the time with Renetta, that they said they're myths, and they we know who they are, often like to put a spin on creating a loophole of plausible deniability, right? So that, children only they have imaginations that are wild and run rampant. And we as adults that are civilized, we don't do that, right? So that we will naturally look away from the importance of the signifiers of these, what I believe are historic legends. I don't think that they're made up.
They're not
did you
made
have,
up.
I'm so sorry. I know you've been like driving and you've been so quiet, and Conor has been really, the breadth of the information is amazing. I don't know if you wanted to ask anything. I've kind of been taken over here, so I wanted to give you an opportunity.
No, I'm good. I'm very fascinated by all of this, but I recognize some of the things that Connor's talking about. But I'm just like taking it all in. I'm something will come to me to ask him at some point. yeah, I'm really enjoying this because this is like really awesome. You're doing great. Thank you.
Thank you. So the most great example that I can show you decoding a coat of arms of a particular monarch is definitely the British coat of arms. So I can decode it from the heart. The other coat of arms it represents the authority of the monarch, but it also represents where they came from. But the British coat of arms is happens to be the most recognizable and the most decoded out of all of them. So I want to do something easy for the audience. Otherwise, they'll be like, what are you talking about? So I just did the British coat of arms so everyone's familiar with it.
I recognize it.
Okay, so
could you maybe also, I'm so sorry, I don't mean to digress here, but could you maybe just give us a brief breakdown of maybe like I said, the terminology or the appropriate way to describe like the layout or the foundations of what are used in heraldry?
Yeah, so let me tell you this. So, okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, you know what? I'm going back. Okay, so the lion represents the king, and the crown is representing of the monarch. So the crown represents a thing that is divine. It's constantly moving. It's constantly appointing and choosing with the king. So you see this here. This is called a banner. And this banner represents the monarch's coronation robe at their coronation. And this is a helmet, a knight, representing they are the senior knight of the realm. They are the senior protector of the realm. And this is the coat of arms of the monarch. So the lions of England represent the Lion of Judah.
This goes back to the 12 tribes, right?
Yeah, so technically there's supposed to be a unicorn, but that got cast out here. But again, we're going to go to the Scottish insignia for the monarch real quick. So I can zoom in and show you. So the lion, again, this represents the Lion of David. So combine those two together, you have a royal bloodline that is so pure and significant.
Wow.
Now, the most pure family descended from the Plantagenets is not the Windsors. It's the Stuarts.
Wow.
So the Stuarts have a greater claim to the throne than the Windsors. Again, I'll get to that in a minute.
Were
the
you going to say
unicorn.
something, Mike? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did not know that about the Stuarts, and that's almost shocking, right? Like, because you always hear about, yeah, I love the unicorn too, girl.
Okay, hold on. I need to show you
always hear
this.
about
I need to show you
Windsor,
this.
right?
Okay, so this is my ancestor, Bonnie Prince Charlie. Now he's the rightful king. He's a Stuart. So this is his legitimate line going right down to me. So my grandfather, who's still living, he would be the legitimate king of England and Scotland. The whole British Empire would be him. So anyway,
I know I have like an Irish connection. My mom's side of the family's 100% Irish. I'm like half, but I keep seeing this imagery coming up with like a harp. I think it's a harp.
Okay, so the harp represents. Oh, I hate this damn thing. Oh, okay, hold on. So the harp represents Ireland's. Hold on, let me try to process it real quick. So the historians really never understood the harp. Let me just put that there. So they never really understood the harp. But the harp actually represents the Celts. It represents the Celtic heritage of the monarch. So that's why they put the Celtic image on there, so to represent, hey, I'm Celtic. This is where I came from. This is the original Britain before Christianity came to Britain. There's also a thing called Celtic Christianity, Celtic Catholicism. But again, it's no longer practiced today. So anyway, that's the
Who doesn't love a man in a skirt, right?
That's the banner of the monarch. So this is the banner. Again, so this is the Order of the Garter. Oni Swati Molly-Pop. So this is the Order of the Garter. Lion of Judah, the Lion of England, the Unicorn of Scotland. Now, the unicorn story has its own meaning, and I'm not going to get into it because it's a source of murder, I should say. It's a very horrible story to tell, and I'm not going to tell about it. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So again, you might heard about the bloodline of Jesus. So this is an allegory. So this is the allegory. Unicorns are being hunted and killed for their horns.
Right.
This is the allegory. But again, I'm not going to get into it because it's a horrible story, and I don't want to talk about it. Really, I really don't. But anyway, so you'll see this banner down here. It's French. Dieu et mon droit, which means God and my right. Now that is the motto of King Richard I of England. When he's in battle, he's known to say, "God and my right. I am an anointed king." Now the flowers. Excuse me.
You're fine. Do you need to get a drink for a second? I do need to get some water. So if you'll just excuse me for just a minute or two, I will be right back.
Yeah, go ahead.
I apologize.
Yeah, I did have I was curious how, the whole monarchy has been there like, for centuries, and how you found, your bloodline going all the way back to dare I say, the beginning of like the whole thing. But how I'm sure, and I'm sure, of course you are, but I'm sure they know this, because how could they not? They have records that show all of this.
Yeah. The thing is, if they didn't know this, why did they keep king lists?
Right, exactly.
So yeah. so like that kind of got into my head for a second, is that when I was studying this, is that why did they keep king lists if it was just a joke? They didn't.
Right.
They kept king lists all the time. They kept king lists to trace their genealogy. So it's essentially an ancestry.com version of royalty.
Wow.
So
And
that's what a
what's
king list is.
yeah. And you know what's sad is that they would never recognize you or your family line.
No, because I'm Catholic. Because I
Oh,
can't. So a Catholic cannot be ruler of England according to the Act of Settlement. And
wow.
so again, it's an illegal law. It is truly illegal. You can't remove a monarchy or a monarch just because of a religion. They have never ever done that. That would be a grave crime against the divine. The ancients, they would believe. That would be a great crime to do. And so they will wait. They'll wait till the monarch's death. The new monarch will change a few things. So that's what they normally hoped for. Again, my ancestor James II, devout Catholic. He's one of the true royal line, but they removed him. And so in that lineage that I just showed you, that lineage also goes to Louis XVI. It goes to several Habsburg royalty. It goes, and also I can trace my lineage to Genghis Khan, to the emperors of Japan, China, all over the world. Even Renetta used to know about my line. And so it goes far beyond into the ancient gods or God himself. It goes right back into history, even prehistory, I should say, right into prehistory. And so that's the monarch. So if you're a monarch, you have to prove that you go up and beyond to this person. You have to show the legitimacy of that line. But anyway, so that's the importance of a king list, is that to keep extensive records of your genealogy. That's the reason why they kept it. That's the reason it's been used. If they didn't use it, why would they prove it? Why would they teach that? Why would they tell people about that? So if they didn't have it, there will be no sense of just using it at all. King lists are so important in ancient Egypt because that taught us, that showed us pharaohs that we didn't even know about going into history. So it's very, very important to show king lists, especially. Abydos Temple is a king list.
Abydos.
Yeah, Abydos Temple. I'm going to do a video about Abydos Temple one of these days, but I will do that. Abydos Temple is essentially the temple of Osiris. And within that temple, it shows you a king list. From Ramses II to Osiris.
Wow. That's quite a long time.
Oh, it is a long time. It is a long time. And what's interesting in Abydos, in the temple of Seti, Seti the First receives a vision from his ancestor Osiris to go beneath the temple. And then he founds an ancient temple of Osiris. And behind the temple of Seti the First, there's actually a temple called the Osirium.
The Osirium. Wow.
Yeah, the Osirium. And they say, it dates back to 2500 BC. Well, if you look at the blocks in particular, you know what? I'm showing you right now. Yeah, this is what it is. So the Osirium, if you look at the blocks, it's actually a company too.
Oh yeah. Oh, Osirium. Wow.
Okay, so here's the Osirium. When it loads, come up. It's not loading. Okay. Temple. That'll be better. Okay, here's a great example of it.
Oh wow.
So look at these stones here. This is not this can't be 2,500 years old. It can't be, because
No.
look at the precision of the blocks. Just
Mhm.
you can't even fit a paper bill. How do I tell? Is that they've been fitted so perfectly. Even if
Yeah.
you look the box inside of the Great Pyramid, it's perfectly fitted together, and you can't put a money bill within it.
Wow.
It's so precisely done. Like it's beyond our own understanding of math. This goes beyond math, beyond calculus.
Oh
This
yeah.
is math that we didn't even know about, but we will soon discover in the near future. But this is math that we never knew about.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
so,
and I okay, good.
but look at these blocks. Right here, this has to be like about 50 tons on
Oh
top.
yeah,
This is like 50 tons.
that's easy. Yeah, easy 50 tons. Who knows? Maybe even more. And I love that every time you find these old palaces or these old ruins, that style of doorway is always there. You have the two super duper heavy, God knows how many tons blocks this way, and then the one on top, which our equipment today can't even budge
We
one of
can't build
those.
the pyramids today. We know we can't. We can't build the pyramids today. That's one of
Wow.
the mysteries, is that now we have the technology today. We don't have the equipment necessary to build a replica of a Great Pyramid of Egypt. We
Is
don't
this
have the technology.
Abydos?
Yes, this is the
Yeah.
Osirium Temple in Abydos.
I just read that they believe that the was it the labyrinth, right? One of the great mysteries of the world, that they believe that they have found the entrance to it at this site. Have you heard about that?
Yes, I've heard about that. And you know what I think is actually buried here is actually the jet pillar.
What's
This is
that?
what this is what I think about. So the jet pillar is a source of power. And so that's what actually gave light in ancient Egypt. So if you look at Dendera Temple, if you know about Dendera Temple,
I
within its
do.
labyrinth, you would see mysterious figures holding what looks like bulbs with a snake in them. So you know that they say that they use torchlight. Well, you don't see any smoke or smog or whatever you call it, or soot, in any of the temples. You don't see that throughout Egypt. So Dendera is a source of where our history comes about. Again, they have batteries back then called the Baghdad battery. They have bigger batteries in Egypt that powered the Great Pyramids. And the jet pillar is the source of all power, and it's associated with Osiris in particular. Combine that with the scepter, you get ultimate power. So,
Wow.
I have
but
to
then
ask
there's
you, Connor. I'm sorry, go ahead.
1 second. But there's a story in Egypt that when Osiris died, he came back to life. Now he was flesh and blood, don't get me wrong, but there was also a copy of him that is mechanical. And if you look at the Temple of Abydos, the resurrected Osiris, Isis is controlling him.
Oh.
Oh,
So
oh,
the
oh,
so
sorry, I'm
the
slow.
so
I'm
the
slow.
story of ancient Egypt is completely different of what we have thought. The
Right.
resurrected Osiris is essentially a robot.
I
Oh.
have heard that. I have heard that like about Akhenaten too.
Yes, so
Oh,
there's the
interesting.
funny thing about Akhenaten. The high priest of Amun put a curse on him. He cannot travel to the other world, so he walked the world as a ghost. So this is what happened, but they covered this up again as usual. So there was a opera about Akhenaten and his family. All of a sudden, a storm comes out of nowhere and blinds one of the actresses. And one of the actresses was oozing blood and screaming so bad. And so this was actually the curse of Akhenaten and the curse of Amun taking into effect. So, like, again, Tutankhamun has 5 magic curse bricks. Most of them supposed to have 4. The 5th one is a mystery. So, again, we just discovered 2 cavities in Tutankhamen's tomb. Now, this is what I think that is buried in the 2 chambers. One tomb nearest. So, if you were in Tutankhamen's tomb, this would be the front wall here. This is where the other chamber is. This side over here would be where the other chamber. So let's talk about this side of the chamber real quick. So this is what I think, and I'll answer your question, Michelle. So this is where I think is actually buried in there. Akhenaten's mummy. Because we couldn't find Akhenaten at all.
Wow.
They say we found him, but it's just a skeleton, and it proves nothing about Akhenaten.
Right.
It really doesn't prove it. Even the guy said, "Oh yeah, this has to be around a member of the royal family in his 40s." No, Akhenaten was not that age when he died. He wasn't. So he was born in 1353 BC before Christ. So he died in 1336. So 1353. I might have to look this up just to double check.
197.
No, he would be. So he would have a 17-year reign. So 17-year reign. So 1353. Hold on, let me look up his birthday. I'm curious. Now I have to really get into this. Okay.
Yeah, I have to take my socks off if I'm going to count over 10.
Okay. So he would have been born.
I thought you said like 1300 to 1596 or something, and I was like, man, that's at least almost 200.
No. He wasn't reigning. I don't see his birthday. Hold on.
Right there, 1363 to 13.
Okay, so 1363. So hold on, 1363 to 1336. So he would be 27 years old when he died.
Why is it saying 63 to 61?
That would be the estimated date of his birthday. So.
Oh, okay.
So
I was wow, that's he's time traveling.
This is the intriguing part. They know his birthday, but they refuse to come out with it. The ancient Egyptian records are so precise and so accurate that the Egyptologists have to act so they can get their paycheck, that they can't know the truth on Akhenaten. So they have to make this shit up about, oh yeah, Akhenaten, we don't know his birthday. Well, it clearly states over here that he was born sometime around March. Why are you not saying that? So or something. Again, I'm just using an example here. I'm just doing an example. But anyways, is that the problem with these people nowadays is that they always so focused on hiding the truth. They're not telling the truth. So he would be 27 years old when he died. And so he can't be 38 years old when he died. He can't be. So it's an imposter. Yeah. It's not really Akhenaten. It has to be his son. It has to be his son. So KV 55 is not Akhenaten's tomb. It's Semenkhara's tomb. And that tomb was deliberately destroyed for a reason.
Wow. Well, also funny.
They're covering up the bloodline. They're destroying remnants. Oh yeah. But if you look at this, there's an inscription in that temple that says, "The evil one shall not live again." When they first found this tomb, there were blocks representing the cardinal directions. They were supposed to face outside, but they were kept inside. Meaning whatever is buried here, they don't want them coming out of the world, but kept
In the
in.
mummy.
Yeah. And so it can't be Akhenaten. They originally thought it was, but more DNA testing revealed that it has to be Semenkari, his son. Now, we don't know nothing about him historically. There's nothing about him. All we know is that he had a 1-year reign. We don't know much about him. Us people. But they know about him because they're covering it up. He was married to Mary-Aten, and they had a daughter, and their granddaughter was Skota. But we have no clue of who Semenkari is. But then you get the idea of that, okay, this is what we should go into here, is that, okay, we should examine a member of King Tut's family. So there could be a guy by the name of Prince Thutmose, who was Akhenaten's older brother and was supposed to rule before his death, before Akhenaten, but never got to. So so people like Sigmund Freud and myself have concluded that Thutmose is actually the biblical Moses.
Thutmose.
Thutmose means son of the god Thoth. And if you take away the Tut element of his name, now Mose means the son of. Now Moses is very similar to Mose. So again, going back to the high priesthood of Aaron and going back to Moses, they are actually descended from the Egyptian royal family. And so the priesthood of Jesus from Aaron and from David and from Abraham, Jesus is actually a flesh and blood descendant of the Egyptian royal family and the royal bloodlines of the entire planet in that time of he was born. That was a cover-up. Again, the Ark of the Covenant is a major story. The Egyptians had their own version of the Ark of the Covenant. That means the Exodus took in the reign of his general, Horeb. Years after Akhenaten's death, he was the last pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. Horeb would be the Exodus pharaoh.
Right.
Because it makes sense.
Yeah.
It would make sense. There's no other monotheistic religions in that time except Akhenaten. So Judaism is essentially based off Atenism, one God with no image. And he gave it to the Israelites, the Hebrew slaves. The only time they would have an exodus would be led by the brother of Akhenaten, Moses, and exiled from Horeb to Israel or Judea. Later it will be called Judea, but to that region, the 40-year-long pilgrimage to their given promised land. That would be the Pharaoh. And the chariots found in the Red Sea would explain that, no, this is not Ramses II. They always portray Ramses II as this...
As the Pharaoh that went after them.
Yeah, as this evil Pharaoh. But if you look at the story more clearly of Ramses II's reign, there was no exodus. There was no brutal treatment. It was an economic prosperity. It was a golden age of Egypt under Ramses II. So how would he be this cruel? It would be under the reign of Horeb of the 18th dynasty.
You know, Connor, it's interesting you bring up Exodus because, you know, I follow Jessie the Boater and I look at like her affidavits, and she has this really interesting presentation where she actually is talking about Exodus. And she says that if you take, I think it's Exodus 19 through 21 in Hebrew, and you take those first three letters and you arrange them a certain way, that it shows the full power of God, and that those initials end up being the 72 principalities that King Solomon contracted with. And she goes further to say that, like, you know, when they're at the parting of the Red Sea, they talk about, you know, Moses, raise up your rod, and there's like, you know, something in the sky above them. She is saying that this represents the raising up of like a threefold contract, these colonnades.
Right, yeah.
That's a whole nother thing, but I think it's very interesting that you are drawing these parallels with who was actually present in history, whether they are metaphors or whether they are actual events. And we know Renetta talked about this in the Unholy Trinity, Quaternity of the Beast. There is
Like
the
I
language
did.
of people, the language of the royals, the language of the elites, and that they all have a double talk to them, correct?
Yes, they always have a double talk. Yeah.
This is fascinating.
Wow.
But yeah, Renetta and I would always dive deep into the Unholy Trinity, which I'm not going to get into today. That's a totally different video. But
I
anyways,
do want to ask you a question. I'm so sorry. I apologize. My dogs were going crazy and the phone rang, so I didn't mean to step out. When I came back, I couldn't get back on stage. So thank you, Mike, for letting me back on stage. When you were there looking at Abydos, right before I had excused myself, you were talking about the many purposes of the Great Pyramid on the Giza Plateau. There's a story that I heard. I hate to even reference Billy Carson, but for the sake of this, he talks about a homegrown guide saying that one of the many purposes that the Great Pyramid was used for was like a sort of X-ray machine that they would put you in one of the chambers, and there was a way for it to get a image of like your etheric or light body, and that they would then be able to diagnose and treat you for symptoms of like ailments. Have you heard about this?
I heard about this, but there's no physical way it would be used in X-ray. I looked at the Great Pyramid. There's absolutely no fucking way that it would have any capability of an X-ray. It is built as a power plant, and if you look at the chambers, it is built as a power plant. So how in the hell it will be used as an X-ray machine? That is just so full of malarkey. That is absolute malarkey. It's a power plant. The whole thing is a power plant, and you can even tell the entire pyramids is a circuit board. Again, I established that. I'm the one who made that discovery. It's a power plant and a circuit board combined, meaning it has ultimate power. And I will do more on this site later on in a part 2. But if you guys want to check out that Giza Plateau part 1, go to my YouTube channel and you will find it. It's under the Great Sphinx video. But check it out. I have done a lot of decoding on that plateau for so long.
I think it also was like Viracocha, that imagery I had emailed you. This is the video you did this week, and it's showing Viracocha, and it's clearly, to me, matches the processor chip from a quantum computer, like clearly in the imagery there. And even if you look at, like, you know, there's this repeating pattern all over the world of these megalithic sites where they're like these doorways, right? These doorways to what we don't know, but it almost looks like there's paneling that is cut out perfectly in the stonework, like as if though they almost had panels or screens there, right? Like these were operating maybe as portals or doors.
I would say they're more of a functioning Stargate. And the reason why they're more of a functioning Stargate is that it's a source of electromagnetic energy, and all these ancient sites are built off of earlier sites. If you look at the earlier sites, so let's go to Baalbek for a second. So Baalbek in Lebanon, right? Baalbek is originally built as like a landing pad. So if you look, then it was built as a temple to Jupiter by Alexander the Great. But if you look at Baalbek for a second, so that's where the Temple of Baal used to be at by the ancient Canaanites. So look at that to a more keen eye for a second. It looks like it's just an empty pad. Take away the Temple of Jupiter, and it's just like a landing pad.
Yeah, well, you
So
know they have that in Nazca too in Peru, right? It looks clearly like a freaking runway from a plane when you're up.
I made a video about that. I told everyone it's a runway. I told
Yeah.
about that. And if
Mhm.
you look at the hidden faces of Nazca, it's the Nazca people are like showing you this is what happened. Geoglyphs are like writing on the earth. Geo
Yeah.
is earth, glyph is writing. But the people at the sky like to ignore it. Like once we fly over it, oh, it's just a little striation. It's nothing, not a big deal. No,
Well,
it's
those
a big
lines are
deal.
disappearing. You know what's interesting too? Like I love Knowledge of the Forever Time, and Damon T. Berry just beautifully. There's a 7-minute video on the Knowledge of the Forever Time Damon T. Berry YouTube where he is showing that all of these strange images on the plains of Peru on the desert floor, these glyphs, clearly all correlate with constellations that go from here in the Milky Way all the way to Triangulum, which we know Triangulum is where the
Seat
throne of
of the
God
whole
is.
of God, seat of God,
Yes.
triangulum. Yeah,
Seat
the
of
Holy
God.
Trinity. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, triangulum. I even talked about this. Tri
Yes, you
means
did.
three. Tri means three. Unity means Godhead. Trinity. 3 persons and one united God. That's what a Trinity means.
Amazing.
And so again, you get 3 of everything. 3 gods, 3 pyramids, 3 of
3 blind mice.
everything. And you know, exactly.
Yeah.
And what I need to do a video on is that I need to do a video on Mexico and Peru. Because I did it with
Wow.
Renetta a lot. Because I need to
Like
do it.
Teotihuacan.
Because I found in Sacsayhuaman, it's not just a temple of a supercomputer. It's the temple of the anti-god. That little center looks like an eye. So this again, I need to talk about this. So this is another time. But
no, you're fine. I'm not trying to take you in that direction,
that
Connor. I'm sorry.
Center, so that center little pyramid is in the shape of an eye.
Oh wow.
Because the entity in Mission Impossible is based on an eye.
That's why you always see this, right? Or what is it?
Yeah.
That was the last movie. That was the last movie that he made.
Yes, it was the last movie. And you know what? That movie proved me right. What I saw in the Grand Canyon was lots of imagery of eyes of the entity, of the anti-god, the AI anti-god. Wow. And so the AI anti-god is actually a cyborg because I find on its Temple of Apophis in the Grand Canyon that there's a fetus with mechanical features and flesh and blood as well. Flesh and blood placenta, mechanical in nature. So this is the anti-god. So the anti-god is actually developed. It was used as a weapon by the reptilians until it went rogue and just started destroying and conquering everything in its name. So then it started to make its way into the United States and into our planet, waiting in its silence. And it started sacrificing people to it. But anyways, that's the anti-god. But these ancient structures are so aligned is that they're built on top of earlier sites. The more you find about on it, the more history it leads to, the deeper it becomes. As I always say, what is up on top, more revelations are revealed at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
So you can't, so they always say go from the bottom to the top, but this is what I say. If you look at the top piece of the puzzle, the more information comes at the bottom. So you should start at the top, then go to the bottom and fully understand everything.
Right.
That is why our culture is so messed up, because we're a bottom to top culture. We need to become a top to bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then you get everything.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to heraldry for a second, because I think I did a lot of decoding on heraldry and history in general. But look at the bottom here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I established the banner here, but look at this. So this represents the United Kingdom. The shamrock representing Ireland, the thistle representing Scotland, and the Tudor rose representing England, the Rose of England. So again, after the Wars of the Roses, the Warring Roses of Lancaster and York were united in marriage by Henry VII of Lancaster and Queen Elizabeth of York. That's what it represents.
Okay.
So that's England. This has to be the most easily decoded coat of arms of all time. This has to be, because more people are familiar with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and everything is it's just all right there. You know, if you look closely, you can just see everything.
Now I want to get into this because the cross keys is a symbol of the papacy, real quick. So I want to show you guys something here. So this is the banner of the Papal States. Now, if you might be familiar with Vatican City, it's its own city-state, but the Pope used to rule a larger collection than the Vatican.
Oh.
So I want you all to count these stars for me. Now, if you look at top and bottom, 3 stars, but they're all connected. Now, again, going back to 3, Trinity is screaming in here. The Holy Trinity is screaming in here. So these stars represents the Holy Trinity. Now, don't connect them together because 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's always 3 stars in here. Trinity. So going in here, now the cross keys represent the keys that Jesus gave into heaven. But it's far more fascinating than that. These keys represent divinely and a spiritual authority on earth. Whatever you control on earth will be done in heaven. Whatever laws you make whatever laws are in heaven, there'll be laws on earth. So there's a unity here between the Trinity and the cross keys of the Vatican. So no one actually decoded this before except me. So the keys represents the key of the church, the key of the world, the key of the heavenly kingdom.
Wow.
If you think about this for a second, every monarchy on earth has a high steward. Yes, Willow, as above, so below. That's what it represents here. So, but if you look at this more into its perspective here, the keys of a high steward govern the royal household. They govern the government. So the popes from the line of St. Peter are high stewards for Jesus, the kingdom of God. This is what the flag represents. Again, these 3 stars are screaming 3, 3, 3, 3. Trinity, Trinity. There's 3 stars in every single direction on this banner that represents the Holy Trinity.
Wow.
The keys represent authority given.
And heaven and earth.
They also represent the key of silence and their key of loyalty and the brotherhood.
Yes, there's a reason why keys are used, but they're also used in the monarchies. The key of the royal chamber, the key to the government apartments, the key to this, the key to that. There's always a key in everything, but cross keys. Thank you. Thank you.
And what about the umbrella?
The umbrella represents, actually, there's another word for it, but I don't remember what it's called. But the umbrella represents divinely granted authority. So if you take a picture of laying out of hands, look at my hands to that banner.
Ah.
Oh, right.
So my hands, look at my hands to that banner. These represent laying on of hands, giving authority. Now, when a monarch is before he or she's anointed, they lay their hands upon them. Even at the Pope's coronation, they lay their hands upon them.
I always see faces in these. Not this particular one, but there's some others that have a lot more layering to them.
Yes.
And you can actually see like the eyes, the face. When I forget what it's called, it's like a blanket or something like that, where they have, the helmet, they have the coat, the crest. Yes, I'm aware, Tucker. I'm so sorry. Aaron was supposed to be here and I did not know he left, and my dogs are going crazy. So I am so sorry. I've got Tucker in here because Trixie's in the yard and I don't want them to get out. So, and I don't know why when I left, it kicked me off. So I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all to you, Connor.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
No. I got you.
But anyways, this is what that banner represents. This is the flag of the Papal Kingdom, the Papal States, as it was called. Now, this is before Vatican City. Now, the Kingdom of France. I'm going to go into this here. That's not what I want. Okay. Kingdom of France. What do you see?
Well, I see the fleur de lis, and I don't really want to get into occultic stuff too much today, but I do know that the fleur de lis is a symbol that is connected within the Priory of Zion. But as we know, there is a double meaning for everything. They have their meanings, and then they have the meanings that they share with the people, right?
Okay, Priory of Zion. What else? What else do you see?
The necklace.
Well, I know that
is that what the Pope wears?
The chain that represents the order of the Holy Spirit.
Right. And we know with the layering that this too represents contracts. Like specifically at the bottom where you have that cross and then how it goes straight up the center, and they have the double imagery on the right and the left of the angels. This is what you see in Kabbalah magic. They always have a identical.
This does not represent
imagery.
Kabbalah, though. This does not represent Kabbalah. What this coat of arms is representing is divine sonhood. Those angels are called cherubim.
Cherubs, yeah.
So cherubs, you see the fleur de lis on top of the crown. Now,
yeah. Willow says she sees 3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Also looks
Coming
like
back
the
to 3.
Pope's hat sometimes, depending on
The triregnum. That's what it's called.
Thank you.
So the triregnum represents 3 crowns. Top one
like 3
represents
kings, right?
Yes. Top of them represents the top one represents. There's other titles but this is what it's called. So the bottom one represents you are father of kings and monarchs, Lord of the globe, and vicar of Jesus Christ. Those are what the 3 crowns that actually represent the triregnum. Wow. So again, the fleur de lis actually represents the king and his wife and his heir. If you want to look at this more perspective, the Trinity and Jesus, Mary, child. Jesus, Mary, child. That's what a fleur de lis stands for. And also a king would be the king, the queen, and his son. Now you do see a lion, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, in the middle.
The mane. I see it.
Do you know what this is? What's right here? This is Saint Michael. Stabbing.
Oh, really?
That's Saint Michael stabbing Satan. This is the Holy Spirit. Who is the Father of Jesus? God, the Holy Spirit. So representing the monarch's authority on earth, it's also representing the monarch's authority in heaven. The kings of England and the kings of Europe and throughout the world are representing in coat of arms their divinely granted lineage and authority with coat of arms. Of a monarch, the monarch coat of arms is more depicted in here. It represents the more divinely granted authority. James I of England chronicled the true law of free monarchies. He writes, kings are called gods. They are descended from God. They are appointed by God and anointed by God. Again, going back to the king lists, genealogy, proof of lineage, and direct line of succession. That's what it is. So if the monarchies of Europe, Asia, and throughout the world all have coat of arms, they'll always look at the monarch coat of arms. It represents the authority given to them by a divine being. The cherubs are there to help lift the monarch into a heavenly realm. You would see cherubims helping the Blessed Virgin Mary assume into heaven. There's a reason why the Catholics on August 15th have it, the solemnity of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of God. You would see that everywhere.
I think Willow Ruth is talking about how they have like powers, principalities, archangels, angels.
That's another reason why you can depict them. Choirs of angels holding the monarch assume his divine being and bloodline to his heavenly Father.
Yeah,
so that's a lesson. That's a lesson on heraldry and ancient history for you. Now, going back to the House of Stuart real quick, because I don't want to take up too much time here. So this is the true line of succession. So this is my 10th great grandfather through his direct line. Now these are all Catholics, so they were skipped to this line right here. Now George is 55th in line to the throne. That he shouldn't be king. This is where the Windsors come from.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I've heard that they are imposters.
They are imposters. So yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, that's what I'm here to talk to you about heraldry today.
You're amazing, Connor.
That was-
I don't know how you remember all of this. I can't even find my keys in my cell phone half the time. So you're impeccable with recalling dates.
Oh, I don't know how I do it, but I do it. So
first thing in the morning
Yeah.
without coffee too.
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing because you can tell it's really a part of you, because I'm like that with, information about myself. When I was looking up Rodrigo, because Rodriguez, the surname actually means son of Rodrigo or sons of Rodrigo. So I found that very, very interesting. So, and I always keep all that information with me, but that's only one, part of myself. You have this, wow, this enormous line that goes, I love that you know how far you go back and you can actually see your forefather.
He has no idea, Connor. I haven't told him.
Huh?
I haven't told him.
What happened?
Connor's related to everyone. Like his family reunion is quite the event.
Oh man, I would love to be there. Wow. That's just beyond amazing. And what you do is just spectacular. That I want everyone to know. 'Cause I'm so glad that we did this live, because this is information that is so important and so interesting. And these are things that, maybe a lot of people don't think about, because they don't know who Conor Allen is, or maybe they've seen him, even on his channel or with someone else. But I would definitely encourage everyone to just go to his YouTube channel, to his platforms, and really just sit and learn, because this is information that maybe you would never even think of getting on your own, and it's best to sit with someone who truly, truly knows, like, every step, every bloodline, every person. Oh yeah, I know who that is. Oh yeah, that's King. It's like, wow, it's really, really cool that you have all this stuff inside. So thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. So cool. You're a very cool guy too, so educated but very down to earth, you're like you're so high level, but at the same time, you know how to be cool and just talk to everybody. So I really enjoyed listening to you and learning so much too. So yeah, I can't wait to do another one of these with you. Go
Yes,
in depth
we will
about
have
other
to have
things.
Conor back on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm available, so you know where to find me. So
Yes, and I apologize. I am trying. Mike and I have been scrambling. So we did start a Patreon and a Substack, and it's under Third Eye Roll 007. We've got an Instagram account up now under the same name, but I am going to be dropping the links for Conor's channel in the description when we go to upload the videos. And I did put out a biography post on our Substack this morning with you, Conor, just because I do want people to go and learn from you. I think that you're a wealth of knowledge, and there's not very many people out there that are educated and have the ties and connections and the education to be able to break it down and show the lineages and how everything truly extrapolates out.
what's it called again? I'm trying to find it.
It's called Third Eye Roll, and it's all spelled out with letters. So THIRDEYEROLL 007. And Willow Roots, who I just recently connected with through Typical Skeptic, I think she's amazing. I know she has a channel as well. She has been saying she would love to connect with you, Conor, and that she would like to do a live with you at some point as well. So
absolutely.
So I'd be happy to make the introduction. And now that I've got those other platforms, Willow Roots, we can finally connect, because I've been dying to get you my contact information. Her and I connect. We keep connecting in all these chats, Mike and Conor. And I'm telling you, like, I feel like, I don't know, her and I have so many synchronicities going on. Like, it's like almost a little chilling. Like, I got goosebumps from it.
Is it .com? I'm trying to find it. I still can't find
Substack. So you're going to be on Substack, and it would just be Third Eye Roll 007, all one word.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if Mike has the link. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the Third Eye Roll, like it's you have to spell it THIRD, then I roll. Like it's all together. Like
EYEROLL 007, all one word.
You might have to send me the link, because I can't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I will. I don't know why. I think it's published. We just did this like literally last night. I know the Patreon. Actually, I'm not sure if we've published the Patreon yet or not, Mike. Mike and I are gonna have a little huddle after this is over if we have time. But anyways, those are coming, you guys. And once we get it together, we'll drop all the links. I promise.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you're streaming this to YouTube and Substack is what you're trying to do today?
We have it on
like
Patreon.
right now?
I didn't even know it was streaming to the YouTube. Honestly, I thought that we had it unlisted, but sorry.
Yeah, but it's but we have it like on private. We had it on private, I think. But yeah, it's going to
we
the
had it on
YouTube.
private. That's why, unless I don't know if Willow's subscribed to, like, if you have the subscription, you're able to access it.
Yeah,
so
Willow has been communicating. Willow was communicating through the YouTube. So as far as we did yesterday, it was streaming to the YouTube and to the Instagram, because we had connected those two.
Okay. Yes.
So I would have to go. Yeah, we would have to check that later on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Conor. It was a little bit hectic yesterday with us trying to get all of all the connections with the different platforms. We're still learning, so I apologize.
Yeah. Do you mind if I can when this is over, I'm gonna download an MP4 video and put it on my YouTube channel. So
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
excuse me 1 second, please. I'm gonna get my dogs out. I don't have a problem with that.
This was such a wonderful subject, because you really dove deep into, even just what we talked about, and it was like I understood everything. It's like you really, and I'm sure you could have went even deeper, but even what you shared, it was very, very insightful. I know some things, some things were familiar to me, but man, you took me way deeper into that rabbit hole. So it was really, really good. I love this.
Yeah, thank
Trixie's
you. Yeah.
here.
What I want to do is that I want to hold all questions to the end so I can get into a full detail, and then I'll have questions at the end is what I want to do for the future. That's what I'll
That's
for sure.
fine. Yeah, no problem. No, we're just grateful,
Oh,
Connor.
yeah,
Again,
absolutely.
I'm sorry about our beginner errors, but we're doing better. We're just learning. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have been able to do this without Mike. I have zero experience. I'm good at this. I don't know how all the technicalities work. So I wouldn't have even been able to get to this point this morning if it honestly wasn't for him and his hours and hours that he dedicated this week to help me try to get all of this coordinated. So thanks to Mike too.
You're welcome. No problem. No, thank you for, thank you for helping me, because then I tend to be a quick learner. So once I do this once or twice, I kind of got it down pat. So as time goes on, we'll definitely have more time. So that way, it was just today in particular, I already had prior engagements, but for future shows, I'll make sure that, I have a dedicated time. So that way we do have questions for you. We can have everybody join in. So,
I think we're thinking every Saturday morning, maybe like a 2.5 or 3 hour block or something like that. I know we went quite a bit last Saturday and we still have to make up our part 2, but one of the things that Mike and I are going to be doing, especially since there is going to be free stuff on the Patreon and the Substack, but there is some paid tiers. We tried to make those very affordable. There's going to be all kinds of decodes and all kinds of private special podcasts coming out that will not be available in areas other than the member sections, including like I'm working on a newsletter. I'm working on some other like articles and stuff as well. And so Connor, yes, you may absolutely have the MP4. That's not an issue. I will get that to you expeditiously. And I also want to go ahead and make sure I drop a link for your YouTube on that post I put on Substack this morning as well, so that we can direct everybody to your channel, to your decodes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Because I was also thinking about doing a show as well.
Yeah.
So like I was starting to do. Thinking I'm going to do like a show on, decoding symbolism or decoding history, or also some maybe doing decoding private bloodlines. And I'm thinking,
my gosh, that would be amazing.
And
you
that would
know
be
what?
awesome.
If you ever want, I don't know if you use Canva, but there's a tool in there that will actually create an entire course for you with all of the resources and the materials, like as a support for free. It has this. And I think it would be amazing if you did like an educational like class, like a semester, where you teach people everything that goes along with heraldry, like the like I said, the tinctures, the terminology, like this, just the basic vernaculars and the syntax that accompanies it, because it's not just regular words. It has its own vocabulary.
Yeah, because I was thinking about doing it. I'm thinking about doing a private thing with you guys for heraldry in particular. Wow. And we can discuss this after the show, but we can discuss the details. But I'm still trying to make a living as well.
Yes,
we could do percentages. I don't care whatever you guys do, but that's what I've been thinking. Like I can go on a show with you guys. And if I'd say, okay, this is what I would like to, present upon, and you could ask me, you want to do it free, and I said, I might do it. There might be a little private things in there, so that may require a cost. So
I agree. I do. And I'll tell you why, because it's been very difficult for me to charge people for things, but behind the scenes, there are hours. I mean, it's a full-time job, at least 40, 60 hours a week that I know I'm researching, putting together presentations. And none of us, the three of us here, are not here for gatekeeping. We are here for humanity, right? And the war on the soul, or the evolution, however you want to word that, okay? Clearly, there are nefarious forces that are at play here. And people like us we're the wisdom bringers. We are bringing this knowledge, and it is important. But at the same time, we all have to eat. We have to be able to put money into the resources that it takes to even be able to bring you the live stream. So I know up until this point, Connor's been doing this for years. I know Mike has been doing this for years over at his channel with his art. It has been completely free. And so I know that those that know us, they know we're not out. We're obviously not price gouging, and we're not here to get rich off of this. We are just trying to simply come up with the revenue to bring the channel to more people and the content.
That's what I want to do. Is that I'm Renetta and I always wanted to, make a channel of the both of us, do a percentage 50-50, what the videos that we post out will be, private stuff will be charged, of course, but I didn't have Renetta and I have to do that because, she got murdered. So basically is that, we didn't have the time to do it because after I found out that she was dead, it kind of threw us off under the bus a little bit. I had to start my own channel now. And so I can't rely on Renetta and, all my other friends just to bring me on. I mean, I would love to go on.
Connor, you always have a place here
with us. You're always welcome for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What Mike said. I love you.
Yeah.
I love you like a little brother. You and I know that it was an absolutely devastating event for me to lose Renetta. I am still really trying to get over the shock of it. I'm sorry. But it kind of threw us into this limelight. Yes, it did bring us together and form a bond, but it did also kind of throw us all into this where we felt like, what a baton has been passed here. It is our mission to continue the work. And she gave her life for us to be able to have this information. And I don't think that I could live with myself if I did not honor that and continue it because we were her students.
Yeah. It'll be a dishonor if we didn't. So if we didn't teach. So that's the reason why I started my own channel. And, I have like a lot of followers now, but I want to build it up to a huge community. That's what I want to do, like Renetta did. And so like I have everyone here to teach for free. That's YouTube. The reason why I started YouTube is for free information. But what I want to start doing is that, okay, you want to have a private one-on-one, you would have to pay $20 for it. If you want to have a private one-on-one, because I will not broadcast private shit. So
I want to do that with the seals too. The decoding of the seals because there's one for every community, right?
Yeah. So like I can be on there and you, Mike and I will get a percentage on who comes on and stuff like that. Again, we'll discuss this later.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do, I'm not trying to be greedy because, I'm not trying to be Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, who's always greedy. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to
Finding Nemo, and I was like, oh, shark bait, ooh-ha, I know that.
What I want to try to do, I want to build a group so I can create more videos with this money instead of, I'm just using it for myself, but I want to create more videos with this money. And not just to be greedy, but just to be, so I can get more videos, make more videos out because it takes time to build a
all of us have real jobs that we're doing. I mean, aside from my artistic stuff, I do 40 hours a week with the VA. I'm taking on another full-time job out of the house. That's not even, you know what I mean? And I don't feel like this is work. It's not taxing on me. But it is a dedication and it is a lot of time. And most people, honestly, that come to this channel have their own channel or have their own, form of either digital media or they're doing something artistically, right? You all know that there is that you give to the community. And then also that there's an expense behind it to be able to even do that. And we all should have a fair energy exchange, I think is what Connor's saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're obviously not getting rich off of it. And that's okay.
And plus, I'd be more than willing to do every Saturday with you guys. Every Saturday. We can find the time and do it. And so, I was talking with Rob. Maybe I should be on with Coley and Rob as well, because Coley knows me not very well, but she knows me through Renetta, and most everyone knows me. Same thing with James Rink. I would like to get on his channel one day, but it's up to
that
him
would be
again. It's
awesome.
his channel.
Yeah.
But
I'm
anyways,
actually going to be on with Nate.
with Nate who?
Oh, you froze.
Yeah, you froze, Michelle. I think we kind of lost her a little bit. I think let's give it a couple of minutes, and then
Yeah, I'll give her a minute. Yeah, I have just a little bit more time left before I have to go. But yeah, I think that I wish I would have gotten to know Renetta because I listened to her and I grew up with people like her, you know. But I was so young and I didn't really, when you're so young and going through all this craziness, you don't really appreciate where you are. You don't appreciate this person that has all this wisdom and kindness because she was so kind. I could just listen to her and she was so patient, but she was tough too, which I love, that personality. And because before talking to Michelle, I I I could have sworn I had seen her logo just in passing, but I never stopped to listen because my mind was just somewhere else at the time. But then when she started telling me about her videos, I went in and I started listening to her, and I was like, wow, this really, really resonates with me, and I get everything she's talking about because these were like my thoughts too, like the way she looks at everything. So then when I saw the videos that, she's no longer with us, I was like, oh man, that it really bothered me. And then I started to think, I was like, you know what? It's not that Renata was alone. Obviously she wasn't. She had a huge community behind her. But I was like, why do they get to do this? It's like, I'm so tired of the bullying and the craziness. So when I hooked up with Rock Cloud and then with Michelle and now with you, I'm thinking, you know what? In time, because we're just, starting this, we should create how do you say, not just a community, but like our own, like, what do you say, our own, like,
our own
oh,
proteges,
I'm sorry?
our own community, our own proteges, our own students is what you're trying to
Yeah,
say.
we can do that too. Yeah, definitely. But like create our own office. Like, this is, I hate to use the word company, but like that, like 4 or 5, 10 of us, that we all obviously will know each other. You all know each other more than I know you or Rob, and because I haven't gotten to speak to Rob yet. But as we get to know each other more, I believe we should create this office where it's just us, and then from us, then we have, the other, everybody who wants to, join in and learn from this group. You
Yeah,
know.
this is what I was thinking. Like, I think every Saturday I should come out with you, come on with you guys. We'll do
Oh
the same
yeah,
time, whatever, and so do the same thing. And so what I was thinking to do, like, we can do private videos on, you have to pay for it on those sites, and do free videos, like, what to discuss freely on YouTube or whatever, or Rumble, whatever, like Rob does,
yeah,
And so, excuse me. So basically do the same thing. But if you want to do private videos, like on Substack or whatever, you can do private videos on there, and you can share it. Say, hey, we made a private video. If you guys want to watch it, you can pay like $10 for it or whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna let one of you do the cost. I do the talking. So, like, so, but anyways, that's kind of like an idea of how the three of us can work together,
yeah, for
especially on
sure.
these kind of topics.
Yeah, I definitely would like to. I definitely would like to come together and then form our own thing, you know. And then, add other people too later on. But yeah, the three of us starting off, maybe one other person, two other people. It depends how but starting with us three, that would be really, really cool. And because I think for me, I'm looking at it like I always try to look ahead because it's like, there's so many predators out there, right? Both physically and spiritually, and when there's someone by themselves, the predators, they want to try to attack that one person because, who do they have? They don't seem protected. They don't look like they're really hooked up with anyone. So let's go after them. But then, when there's a group of people, intelligent people, powerful people who understand who they are and their abilities, not just their knowledge for the things that we're talking about, but we go beyond that. So all of us together, backing each other up, holding each other up, it makes us stronger. Because I definitely don't want anything to happen to you or to Michelle or to anybody else who's going to come in and talk with us. Because it's like, come on, man, that's been done to death. How about we get together and I look back and say, listen, if you're gonna come over here and mess with us here, we're trying to do something to help humanity, to help people. You know what? You're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
That's it. It's as simple as that. Because the information that you have, the information that Michelle and other people that we invite to talk, the information that we have is very important, and we want to share it with people. And those people are going to be like, wow, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I wanted to hear. This is really helping me. That's because that's the point, is to help others, and then help them in the process of, awakening their consciousness as well, because
Yeah,
that's
actually,
the
I'm going to
goal.
go on a show with Rob this Tuesday coming up, and
Oh, Tuesday.
I haven't decided on the topic yet, but I know it's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think I'm going to talk about the Giza Plateau a little bit, and I'm going to do
Uh-huh.
heraldry
Yeah.
and a little bit about royal bloodlines. I found something more about it, so I'm going to do that because that's my specialty. That's where I'm comfortable in, and so
Yeah,
I'm going
sure.
to do that.
That would be really good. Tuesday, you said?
Tuesday, yes.
Tuesday. Okay. At what time is that?
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna have it on your channel, right? Or are you going on his?
I'm going on Rob's
Oh,
channel.
okay. Okay. Yeah, 9 p.m. Yeah, I want to definitely I'm gonna hit the notify me on that one. Yeah, I know that one's gonna be really good. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna be leaving in a minute, but I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on. This has been so good, and I know that everyone's gonna enjoy this, who watches it after, because I enjoyed it so much and I learned so much. And I can't wait to hear everything else that you're going to teach even after this. I was watching your video with that you did, was it yesterday, about Egypt? How you were talking about Osiris? Was that
I
yesterday or
think
the day before?
I think it was the day before. I
Yeah.
think I was Tuesday. I talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tuesday, and that was just wow, because I could see everything you were pointing out and the way you go into Google Earth and just showing it. It's like right there. So it's like you can't even deny it. So I really love that. And
Yeah,
that show
I
was
think what
really,
we
really
should do, I think we should do what you do, like have me on every Saturday for right now, to get more people on. And then I think we should create a YouTube channel for just us,
good. Oh
teach
yeah.
every Saturday, and something to talk with Michelle. Again, it's just an idea. Like for free stuff, YouTube. For pay
Yeah.
stuff, on the other ones, and we can just share it. Okay, this
Oh
is what
yeah.
we talked about. Yeah, so
Yeah, for sure. And then go a little bit further too with stuff that you didn't want to share publicly on the free YouTube, so
yeah, the
that'll be
free
like a
YouTube
bonus.
censors everything. So I would do
Yeah.
like private stuff on the other one. So like Rob does.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would love that. This has been great. I wish I could stay on longer. Oh my God, I'm like all anxious because I'm like there's so many things I want to ask you. But unfortunately, I have this prior engagement, so I would have to go. But please, I definitely we want to have you back on. So I'm gonna try to take a few minutes to talk to Michelle, to see what we're going to do for next week and the time and everything. And then we'll definitely fill you in as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you so much for having me
Yeah.
on, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. And this was awesome. I really loved it. It went beyond what I was expecting, you know, and I was expecting like something really cool, but this like went really beyond that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Sir. You have a great day. Be blessed. And yeah, if you need anything, just let Michelle know, and then she'll let me know. And if you want to have my information, she'll give it to you, or I'll give it to you later on, so that way we can communicate too about certain things.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
All righty. Thank you. Have a great day now. We'll be
You
talking.
too.
All right. See ya.
All right. See ya.
All righty. That was an awesome show. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I wish I didn't have to go, but you know, life, you know, it happens. So everyone be blessed, and we'll be talking again. We're gonna have another show next Saturday. Please come in and join us. Hopefully by then we'll have the other platforms all set up. But thank you so much, Willow. You're awesome. I loved having you on. Sorry, I kind of got mixed up with all the comments and showing them and stuff, but you know, I got that now. So hopefully you'll come back and we'll hook it up. All right. Yeah, definitely wanna hook up to Willow's channel too. All righty. Everybody be blessed. We love you so much. Talk to you soon.